Hi, so today, finally, the last part of the SUQQU 2022 spring collection has arrived. I have already did 2 videos on this single launch and I will put it in the card and down below. So today I have the palette 07. It's called BENISAKI. Here I also have another shade of their melting powder blush in the shade 01. This is the light lavender one, because I was very curious how this gonna work, because the shade looks very useless and very interesting, that kind of will work at the same time, so I thought I would just try it. When I see this in person, kind of shocked that the color is not very lavender at all. It mostly looks like a translucent face powder with a tinge of lavender. You know those kind of setting powder that there is a lavender tint into it. This more looks like that kind of powder, not very much a real like lavender shade. For SUQQU, they never do very repetitive things. Even though it's not like every color story of their quad is very special, but they don't dupe themselves in the same line at least. So there isn't really a dupe of this palette in this Signature Color Eyes line, but I do have all of them. So I just pick these two, also pinky color storied one, to just compare it for you, like for reference. Let me swatch it first. You can see there isn't a satiny matte in here. They are all shimmers or glitters. This pink is supposed to be the glitter topper in this palette, but it has quite a bit of the, the base color to it. It's not like they're just pure topper kind of glitter formula. So I kind of like that. And yeah, they are so smooth, and as I am swatching this, I feel like this is way more pigmented than their 08. Yeah, 08, the green one. So that's interesting. I didn't get enough of sleep, so I feel like my brain is just not working in this video. Maybe I should put this gold shade. This is more of a more sheer, like shimmer shade. This gold shade in the first half of my lid, and this purple shade in this half of my lid, and pop this in the center and kind of deepen my like lash line or something with this. That's the plan I am having. Maybe I should just use my finger, because a lot of Japanese eyeshadows actually works quite nicely with your finger. Oh, am I wrong? Is this gold one actually the topper? But it doesn't look very glittery at all. Like you can see there's no glitter particles in it, but it's also like showing like a topper, like not much color on your lid at all. Like what? I'm a little bit confused by this palette, because this is a much different concept than their normal quad. Normally they will have one satin or matte shade in the palette, and they will have 2 shimmer and 1 glitter topper. And this is like everything is different in this palette, so I'm a little bit confused. Did I change my plan? I think maybe I should just put this purple shade all over my eyelid and start from there. Okay, changing my plan to that. This shade pigmentation is there, surely. and it's quite easy to blend. As always, I rarely experience patchiness with this line. Pretty nice. Let me just layer a little bit more. You're such a beautiful, I don't know how to explain this shade, but it's kind of matching the handle of this brush. It reminds me of ruby, you know, the stone ruby. Kind of applying like a cream. Reminds me of the taupe shade in the other palette, the 08. This side I went a little too far, but I'm gonna clean the edge after this. Now let's layer these two shades on our eyelid. I think I am still gonna layer this gold shade in the inner part. Still, I don't think this is showing much. I'm not sure how to use this shade. This, I think they never had this formula for their entire line. It's more of like the same formula with their glitter topper shades in other quads, but shimmer. If that makes sense, I don't know, like weird. Now I'm gonna try the pink one. You know, this is a lot more pigmented. It has a little bit of the glitter, but it's mostly shimmer, and it's super pigmented. Well, super pigmented for SUQQU. A little bit this dark charcoal is like not black yet, but it's quite a grayish, deep brown. So it's a charcoal. Actually, this is a quite nice shade. It's a very good alternative to a black shadow. I think the good thing about a black shadow is it can deepen your look without changing the tone of your look. But it's quite hard to use and quite hard to control how much you have on your brush. So sometimes it's very easy to be like too much about the black shadow. It's like suddenly it's turning to a very black smoky eye, but this shade is serving the same purpose as a black shadow, that it deepens the look, but it doesn't change any tone about the shadow. But because it's not a pure black, it's more of a charcoal brown, and on top of that, it's not like a fully like very opaque kind of formula. It's very easy to control. I actually, surprisingly, I'm kind of liking this. Yeah, I really like this shade. It's such a good shade to deepen the outer crease or the outer corner. And I think it just gives a very good depth to this look, because all the shadow was blending into one and there's no depth to this look before. This eye is looking a little bit rough. I'm gonna clean the edge after. Also take a little bit of the charcoal shade and deepen the outer part. And also a little bit of the pink glitter or shimmer. Okay, I am done, and I do really like the makeup I have done with this palette, but I would love to say it's not what I expected from this palette, because this gold standing out so much. I was thinking that I won't do such a berry ruby kind of look from this palette just because this gold. But the fact that it doesn't really show up that much. I don't want to say this because I love SUQQU, but I am kind of disappointed. Because I was like, this is the first like very yellow gold from SUQQU, and I think it just had so much potential to it. Like, just look at how like these two pink and berry shade swatched, they're so smooth, and on the eyes they're so smooth as well. And why this gold is just has to be a different texture? It can just be the same with this. Like, why make it the same formula to the other glitter choppers, but it's not glitter, it's just a shimmer in that very sheer formula? I feel like when it's shimmer, this formula just don't work, because for shimmer you do want some pigmentation. Glitter is okay because for me, at least, I like to build my glitter, or sometimes I just want to use a very easy to work sheer one. That's the beautiful side about glitter, but not about shimmer. So I don't know why I'm so disappointed by this gold. But I love everything else, so I can't say that I don't like this palette, but it's just not what I expected. For me, I just didn't understand this gold. If anyone out there that have this palette and know how to use this gold, please tell me. I'm not that kind of person that I have to have my eyeshadow to be very pigmented to work for me. But at the same time, a shimmer in this color, it's just kind of have to be a little bit more pigmented to be working. Let's stop with that and do some shade swatch. I find two other more pinky toned palettes, and this is one. This is their 102, is their second limited edition. And you can see there isn't a similar shade in this two palette, but I guess I will just swatch the bottom two shade in this palette to show you the difference. Oh, this shade I haven't used for a long time, but this is so beautiful. Like this shade, how pretty. Let me swatch like this. This is the dark, like satin shade, and this is the beautiful shimmer. Like how smooth that is. That swatch is so beautiful, and I didn't like rub my finger like forever in the pan, and you can see it's the pan looking quite clean after I swatch it. The other one is also a permanent shade, is 04. This is much spring, but I feel like other than the gold shade, this two is pretty similar. This ruby shade and this pink shade is very similar to this two. That's the vibe I'm having. Let's swatch that on my finger. Oh, this is much more like a nudie pink, not so like a pinky pink. And this darker shade, yeah, as well. This is more like the neutral brownie kind of direction rather than just pure berry kind of shade. I guess the 04 is a more variable version of this. So yeah, if you find it a little bit intimidating to have such a colorful, like berry kind of color story, maybe this one is better, a better choice. It's overall more like a nudie kind of color story, but I think you can still get a somewhat similar, this kind of rosy berry kind of look. It's just more neutral, and on top of that, there is a matte shade here, and there is a very pretty glitter here. You know what, let's put this glitter on top, because I really like this glitter formula. Like, see how pretty it is. Like, this formula, this sheer formula only works when it's a glitter. When it's a shimmer, it just don't work. I don't know what's happening with this shade. Let me try it again. let me layer it on top of this glitter. Let's see how it works. I mean, it adds something, I guess, but not all that much. Maybe I should just keep try this. Maybe this shouldn't be a shade that is on itself. It should layer on top of others, but I still think I feel like this is covering all the beautifulness of that glitter and did very little. Yeah, I don't know about that gold. Okay, let's just stop at there, and let's actually try the blush. So this kind of color in Asia, people usually use this kind of color to highlight their under eye. So I feel like that's a little bit different with Western people. So recent years, because we affected by the Western trend, we start to use concealer to highlight our under eye. But I still see from time to time people highlight their under eye with this kind of powder. And I actually want to say I might like this kind of way better because it don't create this very thick layer on your under eye, which is the area that is very easy to get cakey because it's drier there. And on top of that, because this is in a blush collection, so I feel like maybe this is meant to be mixed with other blush or change the tone of other blush. So I'm also gonna try that. I also have the shade 06. I think I'm gonna try in two ways. First, I am gonna put this down on my cheek and I am gonna layer this on top. And the second way, I will just mix these two with the blush and apply like that. And also, like I said, I will try to use this to highlight my under eye. So maybe let's just start with the highlighting part. I'm not sure if this is a satin or a matte. It looks like more like a matte shade. Oh, on the skin, I can actually see there is some sort of satiny kind of finish to it. And I do think it highlights my under eye very nicely. What do you think? Like this part is highlighted and I feel like it gives a very, very subtle glow. I actually feel the difference. What do you think? Like this area. And I didn't apply very much because this is not a powdery kind of formula, but at the same time it's not a very firm pressed, hard to like get product kind of formula. It's like in the middle. I just roll my brush like this and that's how I applied it. And let me show you on this side. I just did something like this. Can you see it visibly on camera? I feel like in real life it's not a very big difference, but it is a difference. I do see my under eye more highlighted and this very natural kind of highlight. The glow this gives is not a wet kind of glow. It's I don't know how to explain it. It just looks like your skin is brighter. I actually quite like it. This is a quite nice thing to highlight your under eye. Because it's not that pigmented and it's not that purple. Let me swatch. Oh, now swatched on my finger, I think you can tell there is a satin glow to it. And it's weirdly looks very pigmented on my finger. Can you see it there? More pigmented and actually darker than I thought. But you can see under my eyes, it doesn't like make my under eye look weird or something. Interesting. I actually like it. Let's try this with the blush. So let me just apply the blush first. This blush formula, the formula is beautiful. I'm really thinking to maybe I want to even purchase more shade from this line. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really like its name. It's just melting into your skin. Like it is a powder, it's not a cream or anything, but it looks like a cream on your cheek. It is very beautiful. Okay, now we are layering this on top, about that much. I want to say it did change a little bit the tone of this blush. Before, I feel like it's more of an orangey kind of color because it is, but now I feel like it's more peachy or like a neutral, like a pinky peachy kind of shade. Let's try on this cheek to just straight up mix these two. I'm like tapping back and forth. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this shade just made the blush quite neutral. I don't think there is a like shade difference. Or maybe like in real life, I feel like this cheek is just a touch more pinky than this cheek. Maybe it's because I put more blush on this side rather than the, the purple shade. But I do like it. I think it's a good thing to have if you want to, maybe sometime adjust the other blush that you have. Like if you, let's say, if you rather prefer cool tone blush but everything just pull very warm on you, this could be very handy. This is a very good option to have in the collection because if you look at the shade range, most of the shade in this collection is very warm. At first I see the shade range and I was like, why there's no real pink or cool tone color in there? Like it's all very cool tone. But actually put this 01 shade in is actually a good choice that you can adjust the color you want on your own. So okay, the looks are done. Even though this is not the look I expected, but I actually like it. I think everything worked together pretty nicely. So my final thoughts, as you would imagine, I really like this palette. I love these two shades and I love this one surprisingly, but this one I just haven't figured out how to use it. Please let me know if you know how to use this. I do like this palette, like I said, I just need to figure out how to use that shade. If you want a more of a neutral, easier to work but similar color story, you can just have the 04. This is a same kind of concept without gold, but it's easier to use. And the blush, like I said, I really love it. I think it's kind of a very good thing to have if you looking for something to either highlight your under eye without using a very thick layer of like highlighting concealer, and it's also very good for mix with other blushes to adjust it to the tone that you want. So yeah, I'm not regretting to buy this at all. Like I really love it. This entire spring collection, I'm kind of surprised of the color story they are deciding to do because they are more New Year and like winter or autumn looking colors for me, but somehow I still feel like if you do your makeup in a different way, it can be a very spring look. I just a little bit shocked that it is like more of a deeper toned kind of collection, but it's actually quite refreshing to see, because a lot of times spring colors are old, like macaron, like pastel, kind of very whitish based color that I don't find very inspiring for my own skin tone, because a lot of times those like pastel shimmers all look the same on my skin tone. So yeah, it's actually a good idea to do a deeper toned like collection in the spring, because it's just different. And I love the majority of this collection, and I enjoyed SUQQU products as always. Since I have every single quad in this line, I am going to post another video tomorrow to swatch, compare, and talk about every single shade in this line. So if you're interested, just stay tuned and watch tomorrow's video. Thank you for watching. Bye.